All right, let's get right into it. The race to build the best AI image generator is, well, it's pretty intense. It feels like every week there's a new contender. But now, a major player has been put through its paces. So the big question on everyone's mind is, have we just met the new champion? I mean, just take a look at this. This image was made by Imagen 3, the latest model out of Google DeepMind. And the prompt it was given was wild. I mean, a felt puppet diorama, a friendly robot, an owl on its shoulder, a fox at its feet, and it's supposed to feel peaceful. The detail here, the texture of the felt, the soft lighting, it's just an incredible piece of work. And man, what a first impression. But of course, Imagen 3 is not stepping into an empty ring, not at all. The arena is absolutely packed with heavy hitters you've probably heard of, maybe even used yourself. We're talking Midjourney, DALL-E, Stable Diffusion. So to take that top spot, it has to prove it's the best of the best. But how do you even decide what's best? Well, what's so cool about this whole process is that the final judge isn't some other computer program or a bunch of confusing stats. Nope, it's us. It's people. The test is actually pretty simple. On one side, you have the AI models, all making images from the very same prompts. And on the other, you have thousands of actual humans who just pick the one they like more. Here's exactly how it breaks down. First, two different AIs get the same exact instruction. Then, the two pictures they spit out are shown to a person, side by side, totally blind. You have no idea which AI made which image. And then, that person is asked a super simple question. Which one's better? That's it. It's a straight-up head-to-head battle based on nothing but what people actually prefer. And you know, this wasn't just a few people clicking buttons. To really figure out a winner, they collected over 366,000 ratings from more than 3,000 people. We're talking a huge, diverse group. That is a massive amount of human feedback, which makes the results you're about to see incredibly reliable. Okay, so the stage is set, the judges have spoken. How did Imagen 3 actually do against the competition? Let's get to the good stuff, the results.
So for round one, the big one, overall preference. Which images do people just plain like more? And you can see it right here, it's a pretty clear win. Looking at the latest data, human raters consistently prefer the images from Imagen 3 over every other model. That's a huge victory, right out of the gate.
Okay, but what about just pure visual quality? You know, which image just looks the best, aesthetically? Well, it's the same story. Once again, Imagen 3 takes the top spot. People just found its images to be the most beautiful and well-composed. But let's be real, a pretty picture doesn't mean much if it's not what you actually asked for. And this brings us to a really critical test. How well did the AI follow directions? This is what's called prompt alignment. And here we see one of its biggest strengths. Imagen 3 was rated #1 at actually understanding the user's prompt and delivering on it. So winning across the board is impressive. But what really gives this new model its edge? Let's dig into the specific areas where it truly leaves the others behind. Take a prompt like this one. It's long, it's full of descriptive words, it's got emotion, a specific cultural event, and even technical camera details. For a lot of AI models, this is where things start to fall apart, trying to juggle all of those details at once. And that's exactly where Imagen 3 shines. The data is super clear here. When you feed it these really long, complex prompts, it pulls way ahead of the competition. It just has a much, much better understanding of nuance and all the little details packed into a sentence. Okay, so it gets complicated language. That's a big deal. But what about something that sounds really simple, but is actually a famous weak spot for image AIs? Can it count? And the results here are pretty fascinating. Now look, no model gets it right every single time, but Imagen 3 is the clear leader of the pack, getting the number of objects right almost 59% of the time. That's a solid 12 points ahead of its closest rivals. So the takeaway is pretty simple. It's not just better with words, it's better with numbers too. Now, whenever we talk about this kind of leap in power, we absolutely have to talk about responsibility. Because building the best model isn't just about making the prettiest pictures. It's about doing it safely. And let's be clear, the risks are very real. This kind of tech can be used to cook up misinformation, help scammers, create harmful stuff, or just amplify the same old tired stereotypes and biases. These are serious issues that any top-tier model has to tackle head-on. So for Imagen 3, the developers said a huge goal wasn't just to block the obviously bad stuff, but also to cut down on what they call homogeneous outputs. Those images that just keep falling back on the same stereotypes over and over again. And this table shows they've made some real progress. You can see that compared to the last version, Imagen 2, this new model creates way fewer stereotypical images when it comes to things like gender, skin tone, and age. Just look at gender. The rate of stereotypical outputs dropped from 50% all the way down to about 15%. That is a massive improvement.
And this kind of improvement doesn't happen by accident. It comes from a whole safety process that covers the model's entire life. It starts way back at the beginning by carefully filtering the training data. Then, internal teams called red teams actually try to break the model to find its weaknesses. After that, outside experts come in to check for risks. And even after it's released, the monitoring never stops.
So after all that, what's the big picture here? What does this new level of quality really mean for the future of images made by AI? Well, it seems pretty clear that Imagen 3 has earned the title, at least for now. This field moves fast. But it won the head-to-head human preference tests, it showed an amazing ability to understand really complex instructions, and it's even the best in its class at something as simple as counting. And maybe most importantly, all of that power was built on a foundation that puts safety first. This is a huge leap forward, no question. But it also surfaces a really fundamental question for all of us. As these AI systems get better and not just showing us the world, but actively creating new versions of it, who gets to set the rules for what they can and can't create? That's the big challenge that lies ahead.